Audiobook 7.11 The Book of Unknowing. What remains when everything else falls away? You have traveled through 10 books now. Origins and chaos, questions and energy, purpose and transcendence, cycles and revelations, doubt and the absurd. 10 lenses, 10 angles on the same vast mystery. 10 different ways of approaching what cannot be fully approached. And now the 11th book asks something different, something quieter, something that requires not more thinking, but less. What remains when the thinking stops? The tradition of unknowing. The via negativa, the negative way, is one of the oldest threads in mystical philosophy. It begins with a recognition that the ultimate reality, call it God, the Tao, Brahman, consciousness itself, cannot be described by saying what it is. It can only be approached by systematically removing what it is not. Not this, not this, not this. The Christian mystic Meister Eckhart wrote of the Godhead beyond God, a reality so fundamental it transcends even the concept of divinity. To know it, you must unknow everything you think you know about it. The Cloud of Unknowing, a 14th century Christian mystical text, described contemplative prayer as the practice of resting in darkness, of releasing all concepts, all images, all thoughts, and simply being present to what cannot be grasped. The Tao Te Ching opens with the same recognition. The Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. Language points. But the finger is not the moon. The philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein ended his Tractatus with a sentence that stopped an era of philosophy in its tracks. Whereof one cannot speak, thereof one must be silent. He was pointing at the same boundary the mystics had identified, the limit of language, the place where words run out and something else must take over. Modern physics has its own version of this. The deeper science goes into the nature of reality, into quantum mechanics, into the foundations of space-time, into the relationship between consciousness and the physical world. The more it encounters something that resists ordinary description, something that behaves differently depending on whether it is being observed, something that seems to suggest that the observer and the observed are not as separate as they appear. At the frontier of knowledge, in every direction, there is a boundary, and beyond that boundary, unknowing. And here is the paradox at the heart of the Book of Unknowing. The moment you stop trying to grasp everything, the moment you release the need to understand, to categorize, to contain, something opens, not emptiness, fullness, a kind of presence that the busy, grasping mind cannot access. This is what the contemplative traditions have been pointing at for thousands of years. Not absence, not nothingness, but a quality of awareness that is only available in the space that unknowing creates. It's all, everything, present, without the need to name it or hold it or make it mean something specific. Just this. The end of the 11 books. You have now been introduced to all 11 books of the Scripturae Infinitae, 11 lenses, 11 rooms, 11 ways of standing before the same mystery and finding a different quality of light. None of them is the whole picture. Together they are closer. But even together they point beyond themselves, toward something that no book, however wise, can fully contain. That something is what the rest of this journey is about. We close this audiobook and this chapter with a track called It's All. Let it carry everything that the 11 books have opened in you, all of it, without needing to sort it or name it or conclude anything about it. Chapter 7 is complete. Looking forward to meeting you in Audiobook 8, Views on Consciousness. the first chapter of the freedom and unbounded part of the Books of Infinity audiobooks. Ready when you are.